And a lot of you have, and I think that's wonderful. I'm getting feedback.
Okay. Larissa, if you could take care of that feedback, we'd appreciate it. I really would. I have another question here from 1440. If you would rephrase your question, I don't understand how you're asking it. When they bring the Dow down to 1400 to 1442, how much of a hit can we expect Bob's PM shares to take? And
okay, I understand what he's getting at.
Okay.
A year and a half ago to 2 years ago, we saw the market go down, and when it went down, the precious metal shares went down with it. It was an extraordinarily unique event because what was happening was that hedge funds were deleveraging. They were selling out positions which they were holding, which they bought with borrowed money. And the bank said, we got to have our money back. And so when they did that, they had to get in dollars. And the dollar went from 71.18 to 89.5. Beginning of May of this year, it turned around. It went back down to 74. As of Friday, let me see, yesterday, excuse me, it's easy to get mixed up with holidays. It closed at 74.27 yesterday. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that people in the hedge fund industry sold everything they had to get cash because their loans were being called. That is not going to happen again because they're not extended now the way they were then. Now, when you have a downside in the market, which is coming this coming year, you will have margin selling in the precious metal stocks, but it's not going to last long because not many people who are in the market own precious metal stocks. In the boobs in the banking area, they're short precious metal stocks. So that means any downside in the precious metal stocks will be met by short covering. In other words, buying by people who already sold. So it's a very good situation for the precious metals market in shares to be in. And so you're not going to get any kind of appreciable selling in gold and silver shares when the market goes down. And you're not going to get any selling probably at all in gold and silver because of the tremendous short positions. They're enormous. Almost 300,000 contracts in gold. And I don't know what the contracts are in silver, but I do know that 82% of the short position is held by J.P. Morgan Chase and HSBC, Hong Kong Shanghai Bank Corp. And they're monopolizing and manipulating the market. And that's being directed by our working group in financial markets, which is run by the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. And then on the horizon, we also have probably the passage of H.R. 1207 and S. 604, which is the audit and investigation of the Fed. Within 6 months of that bill passing, the whole world's going to know what the Fed's been doing, and they're going to freak out. And then there will be another bill to get rid of the Fed, and it too will be passed. And all of their jobs, their monetary policy will all return to the U.S. Treasury, where it was put in the first place by the U.S. Constitution until 1913, when the bankers had legislation passed creating the Federal Reserve Act, the license to steal.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we're not doing a commercial today, but we will do the break that is required by the government of Scotland. Those of you out there, pay attention. We'll be right back in just a minute. This is Drew Malone Range III, a Marines Disquisition, as we're heard around the world on Wind Talkers Radio Network, We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with us. Thank you very much, Doug. You got the music. It's your side. It's your commercial break. We'll be holding on. So whatever you want to play, just go ahead and do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Thursday, the 26th day of November, 2009. It's a Marines Disquisition, and we're honored to have Mr. Bob Chapman to come announce his warnings and give you the truth about what's happening in the United States of America and the fact that he's trying to protect you, the military, around the world for your investments, and all of those of you who partake in this show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those shows that you want to archive and pass around. It's there from my website, the 3 W's, AMD.ELEQUITY.com. That's AMD.lequity.com, and it's free. All the shows on Thursday from Blog Talk Radio or Mr. Bob Chapman when he is available. I don't think he's missed but one show this year. So you've got those there. You want to share them with your friends, please do. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Chapman.
I am here.
Oh, good. For a second there, I thought I'd lost you. Question, Mr. Chapman, is a couple of weeks ago, even I ran an article on my News and Views about the nation of India buying a large amount of gold bullion, specifically 200 tons. And one of the gentlemen in the chat room has asked a question: will India buy the remaining 200 tons of gold?
Well, first of all, I think some has been purchased by Sri Lanka and Mauritania, and so the other 200 tons are not there in total. But India was asked the other day whether they were going to buy more, and they were non-committal, but sources tell us that they're interested in more. And, of course, the Indian population is very happy about that because they own 1/3 of all the gold ever produced and buy 1/3 of all the gold produced each year, usually in the form of jewelry, although they're starting to buy coins and bars, which is not something they've done in the past. And the life cycle historically in India has been short, and so widows were always very happy to have gold in case their husband passed away. India's done very well, especially in the IT area, and so things are different now. Many Indians came to the United States and worked, and many of them are going back to their own country to work as well in positions they probably couldn't have gotten previously. And I know that India has a real problem because of the drought, and the food prices have gone up 15.8%. And how I know that is that I put it into the forecaster today. I picked it up out of one of the Asian news agencies. But it's not as easy as it seems. Everybody's got problems, and India's got a food problem. And you get a lot of people there, as we all know. And so I wish them the best.
I understand that. I have a couple of questions from England, but first I have one here. How much of a decrease in percentage terms does Mr. Chapman think the PMs will give us? We're looking to double down.
First of all, just to give you a guideline, we saw gold go from $252 to almost $1,200. And quite frankly, very few people believe me, over 9.5 years. And so the people who have done that and bought stocks at $5 that are selling for $65 and have been as high as $85 were wonderful investments. Now, in 1980, gold was $850. The inflation officially since 1980 would put gold at $2,400 an ounce. That's double what it is now. And I think it's safe to assume that gold could easily double. And I don't know of any other investment today that you can say that about. Nor can you say about the record of gold making about 15% a year. I don't know the exact figure. I'm guessing at that. 15% a year over the last, we'll say, 10 years. Real inflation would put gold, not the lies the government gives you, would put gold at $6,700 to $7,150 an ounce. And as we go along, there's going to be more inflation. Inflation right now is 7 1/8%, not the 1.2% that the government would expect you to believe.